Have you ever wondered what happened after Simba took his rightful place as king? The credits roll, the music swells, and we all assume they lived happily ever after. But the circle of life isn't always that simple. Welcome back, story lovers, to a tale you haven't heard, a chapter Disney left out. The Legacy of Roars, where Simba battles the long shadow of his uncle, Scar. After the climactic battle, the Pride lands began to heal. The rains returned, the herds came back, and under Simba's rule, a new era of peace seemed to dawn. But a kingdom isn't just land and animals, it's memory. And the memory of Scar's reign was a poison that seeped deep into the heart of the Pride lands. Scar wasn't just a tyrant, he was a master of manipulation. He had promised the hyenas a world where they would never go hungry, a world where the lion's rules didn't apply. He fed their grievances, nurtured their resentments, and even though he was gone, his ideology lingered like a foul scent on the wind. Simba, or triumphant king, was a hero in battle, but ruling was a different beast entirely. He was haunted. Every decision he made was measured against two ghosts. His father, Mufasa, the perfect king he could never live up to, and Scar, the monster he was terrified of becoming. He'd walk the length of Pride Rock, the wind whispering his father's name, and he'd feel the weight of the crown, heavier than he ever imagined. He wanted to be just, fair, and strong, just like Mufasa. But he also felt a simmering anger, a fear that if he wasn't strict, if he didn't command absolute loyalty, the chaos of Scar's time would return. This internal conflict was Simba's first and greatest challenge. His first real test came with the hyenas. After Scar's fall, the hyenas were scattered, leaderless, and starving. Many fled to the outlands, but some remained, hiding in the shadows of the elephant graveyard. Nala, ever the voice of reason and compassion, urged Simba to offer them a path to reintegration. She argued that they were driven to villainy by Scar's promises and their own desperation. Forgiveness, she believed, was the only way to truly heal the kingdom. But Simba hesitated. He saw his father's terrified last moments in his mind's eye. He remembered the cackling laughter that echoed through the gorge. To him, the hyenas were not just misguided, they were accomplices to murder. He saw Scar's treachery in every one of them. So, Simba made a decree. The hyenas Simba and Scar didn't end with Scar's fall from Pride Rock. What if Scar's influence lingered, a shadow stretching long over the Pride lands, shaping the very future of the kingdom? Today, we're diving deep into the Legacy of Roars, exploring how Simba's reign was forever marked by the ghost of his uncle. Let's rewind. When Simba takes his rightful place as king, the land rejoices, the rains return, the herds come back, and it seems like a perfect happily ever after. But is it really that simple? Think about it. Simba spent his formative years living by Hakuna Matata. No worries, no responsibilities. He was a carefree teenager, not a future monarch being groomed for leadership. Suddenly, he's thrust into a role that his father, Mufasa, had been preparing for his entire life. This isn't just a change of scenery. It's a massive psychological shift. The Pride lands Simba inherits are not the same ones Mufasa ruled. They are scarred, literally and figuratively. The ecosystem is devastated. The social structure is broken, and a generation of lionesses and other animals have only known hardship and fear under Scar's tyrannical rule. Healing this trauma isn't as easy as a triumphant roar. Simba has to rebuild a nation from its very foundations, and he has to do it while battling his own inner demons. The guilt over his father's death, the years he spent in exile, and the confrontation with Scar have left deep wounds. This is where the shadow of Scar truly begins to emerge. Simba's leadership style is a direct reaction to Scar's, where Scar was deceitful and manipulative. Simba strives for honesty and transparency. Where Scar ruled through fear and division, Simba tries to unite the Pride lands through compassion. But here's the interesting part. In his effort to be the complete opposite of Scar, does Simba sometimes consider his relationship with his own daughter Kiara in The Lion King 2? Simba is fiercely overprotective, almost suffocatingly so. He sees danger around every corner, especially when it comes to the outsiders. The lion's still loyal to Scar. Why? Because he's seen firsthand what can happen when a threat is underestimated. He lost his father and his kingdom once before. He's terrified of history repeating itself. This fear is a direct legacy of Scar's betrayal. Mufasa was a confident, trusting kin. Simba, on the other hand, is a king defined by his past trauma, his policies, his paranoia. His very essence as a ruler is shaped by the shadow of the villain who destroyed his childhood. And what about the roar of the elders? This mystical power, which Kion inherits in the Lion Guard, is a fascinating piece of the puzzle. The lore tells us that Scar also possessed the roar, but lost it when he used it for evil. He tried to use this immense power to seize control, but the spirits of the past kings took it away. This event is crucial. It shows that Scar's ambition wasn't just a simple power grab. He was willing to corrupt a sacred, ancestral magic to achieve his goals. When Kuyan receives the roar, it's not just a gift. It's a responsibility and a direct challenge to Scar's legacy. Kion must learn to wield this power for good, to protect the circle of life, effectively becoming the entire Lion Guard is, in a way, an institution created to prevent another Scar from ever rising. It's a system of checks and balances, a response to a catastrophic failure in the monarchy's past. The lessons Kion learns are all about controlling his anger, using power wisely, and respecting the balance of nature, all things Scar failed to do. This brings us to a compelling question. Was Scar's evil a necessary catalyst for growth in the Pride Lands? It's a dark thought, but his reign exposed the kingdom's vulnerabilities. It forced Simba to become a different kind of king, one who understood loss and had to earn his place not just by birthright, but by actively healing a broken land. It led to the formation of the Lion Guard, a proactive defense force. Without Scar, would the Pride Lands have become complacent? Would the monarchy have continued blissfully unaware of the potential for corruption from within? Even the landscape itself tells the story. The Elephant Graveyard, Scar's base of operations, remains a symbol of death and decay. It's a place Simba forbids Kiara from visiting, a physical manifestation of the past he wants to escape. But you can't just ignore the dark places. The outsiders, led by the fiercely loyal Zira, make their home in the desolate Outlands, a territory that mirrors their desolation and anger. They are a living, breathing consequence of Scar's reign. Zira has indoctrinated her children, especially Kovu, with a single purpose: to avenge Scar and reclaim the throne. Kovu's journey is the ultimate test of Scar's legacy. He was chosen by Scar to be his heir, molded from birth to be a weapon. He is the embodiment of Scar's hatred and ambition. Yet, through his connection with Kiara, Kovu has a chance to break the cycle. The central conflict of the second film isn't just about lions fighting. It's a battle of ideologies. It asks the love and unity preached by Mufasa and Simba versus the hatred and division sown by Scar. Kovu's choice to abandon his mission and embrace love is the moment Scar's shadow finally begins to recede. It proves that one is not defined by their origins or the path someone else sets for them. When Kiara and Kovu unite the prides, they do something Simba couldn't do alone. Simba was fighting a ghost, haunted by the past. Kiara and Kovu, the new generation, are able to look forward. They bridge the gap, healing the final wound left by Scar. Their union symbolizes the end of the civil war that Scar started decades earlier. It's a powerful message that forgiveness and unity are stronger than vengeance and hate. So, when we look back at the Pride Lands, we see that Scar's influence was far more than just a memory of a bad king. His actions created a ripple effect that shaped a king, forged a new generation of heroes, and forced the entire kingdom to confront its darkest flaws and evolve. Simba's reign wasn't just about restoring Mufasa's legacy. It was about building a new one strong enough to withstand the long, dark shadow of Scar. The roars of Mufasa, Simba, and Kion aren't just sounds, they are declarations of resilience, each one echoing the lessons learned from the lion who almost destroyed them all. What do you think? Is Simba's entire reign a rule? Everything seems perfect, right? But peace is a fragile thing. Far beyond the borders of the Pride Lands, in the shadowy corners of the Outlands, a secret has been kept. A lioness, once fiercely loyal to Scar, has raised his forgotten son, a cub named Kovu. Now, hold on. I know what you're thinking. Isn't this just the plot of The Lion King too? Well, yes and no. This story takes that familiar premise and twists it into something much darker and more complex. In this version, Zira isn't just a devoted follower. She's a master strategist, a cunning manipulator who has spent years poisoning Kovu's mind. She hasn't just taught him to fight. She has sculpted him into a living weapon, his heart filled with a thirst for vengeance he believes is his own. Zira's plan isn't a simple, brutish invasion. It's a quiet infiltration. She knows she can't win with force alone, so she orchestrates a chance encounter. She stages a dramatic rescue where Kovu saves Kiara from a wildfire fire. Zira herself secretly started. This single act of staged heroism is the key that unlocks the gates of Pride Rock. Simba, ever distrustful of outsiders, is hesitant. He sees the shadow of Scar in Kovu's eyes. But Kiara, with her mother's compassionate heart, sees something else. She sees a lion trapped by his past, not defined by it. She believes in second chances, and Nala, wise and perceptive, urges Simba to look beyond his prejudice. And so, against his better judgment, Simba allows Kovu to stay, placing the snake directly into the heart of his kingdom. This is where the real psychological battle begins. Kovu is torn. He arrived with one mission: get close to Simba and eliminate him. But the warmth of the Pride lands, the genuine kindness of Kiara, and the sense of belonging he never knew he craved start to chip away at the armor of hatred Zira built around his heart. He sees a world where lions live in harmony, not in a constant struggle for power. He starts to question everything. He has been tugged. Meanwhile, Zira isn't just waiting in the wings. She's actively sowing discord. She uses her other cubs, Nuka and Vitani, to spread rumors and create tension. Nuka, desperate for his mother's approval, becomes more reckless, trying to prove he's a worthy heir. Vitani, sharp and observant, begins to see the cracks in her mother's obsessive plan. She starts to wonder if this path of revenge is truly the way forward. The turning point comes during a hunt. Kovu and Simba are alone, tracking a herd of antelope. This is the moment Zira has planned for. It's an ambush. The outsiders emerge from the shadows, surrounding Simba. It's Kovu's chance to strike, to fulfill his destiny and avenge Scar. The outsiders wait for his signal, but Kovu hesitates. In that split second, he sees not a tyrant, but a father. He sees the king who brought life back to the Pride lands. And he makes a choice. Instead of attacking Simba, he turns and fights alongside him, defending the king against his own family. The ambush fails, but the damage is done. Simba, seeing the trap, believes Kovu led him into it. His worst fears are confirmed. Blinded by betrayal and fear, Simba exiles, Kovu casting him out just as he had done with the other followers of Scar years ago. The judgment is swift and brutal. Judgment for the animals of the Pride lands, swayed by fear, turn their backs on him. Kiara is heartbroken, her belief in Kovu shattered by her father's decree. She feels betrayed not just by Kovu, but by Simba's inability to see past the ghost of his uncle. This exile is Zira's final gambit. With Kovu gone and the Pride lands in turmoil, she launches her all-out assault. This isn't just a battle, it's a civil war. Lioness against Lioness, brother against sister. The two prides clash under a sky dark with storm clouds, a mirror of the hatred tearing them apart. It's a brutal, desperate fight, fueled by years of resentment and misunderstanding. In the midst of the chaos, Kiara makes a stand. She defies her father and races to find Kovu. She finds him alone, lost and despairing. But her faith in him reignites his hope. Together, they realize the only way to end the war is to confront it head-on. They race back to Pride Rock, not to fight, but to unite. They arrive as Simba and Zira are locked in a final, deadly confrontation on the edge of a gorge. Kiara and Kovu throw themselves between the two leaders, pleading for peace. Kiara's words echo through the storm. We are one. She explains that there is no difference between us and them. They are all lions, bound by the same circle of life. Her words resonate with some of the outsiders. Vitani's the first to cross the line, joining the Pridelanders. Others follow, abandoning Zira's hopeless war. Zira, consumed by her hatred, sees only betrayal. She lunges at Simba, but Kiara intercepts her. The two lionesses tumble over the cliff's edge. Kiara scrambles for a handhold, but Zia is swept away by the raging river below, consumed by the very same darkness she sought to unleash upon the Pridelands. Her legacy of hate is washed away, leaving behind a chance for a new beginning. In the aftermath, the two prides, battered and weary, stand together. Simba, humbled and regretful, finally sees the truth. He looks at Kovu, not as Scar's heir, but as a brave lion who chose love over hate. Eapologises, admitting his own prejudice, almost destroyed them all. The story ends with the reunification of the prides. Kovu is welcomed back, not as an outsider, but as family. The final scene mirrors the beginning of the first film, but with a powerful difference. On Pride Rock, Simba and Nala stand with Kiara and Kovu. The roar that echoes across the plains is not just from one royal family, but from a united pride, stronger and wiser for having faced the shadows of their past. The Crown of Shadows is a powerful reminder that legacies are not written in blood, but are forged by the choices we make. It shows that even the deepest wounds can heal. Simba, the rightful heir, returns from exile, defeats his tyrannical uncle Scar, and reclaims his throne. The Pridelands, once barren and grey under Scar's rule, flourish again. Rain washes away the darkness, and the circle of life is restored. It's a perfect storybook conclusion. But in the real world, and even in the world of stories, ghosts don't always stay buried. Scar's reign, though relatively short, left deep scars on the land and its inhabitants. The hyenas, his loyal enforcers, didn't just vanish. They were driven out, yes, but they were scattered, not destroyed. An army of hungry, resentful outcasts, nursing a grudge against the king who cast them into the shadows. And within this splintered group, a new leader was destined to rise. Someone who carried Scar's ambition, his cunning, and his burning hatred for Simba's bloodline. This was Zira. Zira wasn't just a follower of Scar. She was his most devoted disciple. In her eyes, Scar wasn't a tyrant. He was a misunderstood visionary, Tetrukin. And his death wasn't justice. It was murder. Her entire existence became dedicated to one single purpose: avenging Scar and placing his chosen heir, her son Kovu, on the throne. This wasn't just a political struggle anymore. It was a deeply personal vendetta, a cult of personality built around a dead king. While Zira plotted in the Outlands, Simba was facing challenges of his own. Being a king is one thing. Being a father is another entirely. His daughter, Kiara, was headstrong, curious, and a little too much like he was as a cub. Simba, haunted by the memory of losing his own father and the years he lost in exile, became overprotective. He saw danger in every shadow, a potential scar lurking around every corner. His fear, born from love, built a cage around Kiara. This fear created the very opportunity Zira was waiting for. The schism between a protective father and a daughter yearning for freedom became the crack in Pride Rock's defenses. It was through this crack that Zira sent her secret weapon, Kovu. He was raised from birth to be an assassin, a tool of vengeance. His mission? Get close to Kiara, earn Simba's trust, and strike when the king was most vulnerable. The stage was set for a collision of legacies. On one side, Simba the king, trying to escape his past. On the other, Kovu, the prince chained to a past that wasn't even his own. And caught in the middle was Kiara, who saw something in Kovu that no one else did. Not a killer, but a soul just as trapped as she was. Their connection, an echo of Romeo and Juliet across the savannah, was something Zira hadn't counted on. Love. It was a variable that didn't fit into her equation of hate. Kovu, who had only ever known cruelty and manipulation, started to question everything he'd been taught. He saw the warmth of the Pridelands, the kindness in Kiara's heart, and the noble burden Simba carried. He was torn between his mother's burning mandate and the pull of his own heart. Simba, for his part, was blinded by his prejudice. When he looked at Kovu, he didn't see a young lion. saw. Dahla. Shala. Hey? The resemblance, the connection, the fact he was from the Outlands, it was all the proof he needed. Every action Kovu took, no matter how genuine, was filtered through Simba's lens of suspicion. He couldn't see that the path to healing the Pride Lands wasn't through building higher walls, but by building bridges. The conflict reached its boiling point when Zira sprung her ambush. Using Kovu as bait, she cornered Simba, nearly succeeding where Scar had failed. In the Chao, Simba saw their son, Nuka, died trying to win his mother's approval. A tragic victim of Zira's obsession. Zira, in her grief and rage, blamed Kovu, scarring him in the same way Scar was scarred, marking him forever as an outcast in her eyes. When Kovu returned to the Pride Lands to beg for forgiveness, Simba's worst fears seemed to be confirmed. He invoked the old law, the law of his father, and exiled Kovu. In that moment, Simba wasn't the wise king Mufasa had hoped he'd become. He was a ruler governed by fear, repeating the same cycles of division and mistrust that allowed Scar to rise in the first place. He was pushing away the one lion who could unite the two prides, but Kiara refused to let her father's fear dictate her future. She defied him, found Kovu, and reminded him Andas of the wisdom a grandfather once shared. We are one. It wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was the key to their survival. She understood that the lines drawn between the Pride Landers and the Outlanders were meaningless. They were all lions, all part of the same circle of life. Their return marked the final confrontation, not just a battle of claws and teeth, but a battle of ideologies. Zira's army, fueled by generations of hatred, clashed with Simba's pride, fighting out of fear and loyalty. It was a pointless, bloody conflict, with both sides losing themselves in the violence. Just as Simba and Zira were about to face each other for a final, fatal duel, Kiara and Kovu leaped between them. They were the bridge. Kiara's plea to her father finally broke through his hardened heart. She made him see that there was no difference between us and them. They are us, she said. And in that moment, the cycle of hate began to shatter. The other Outlanders, seeing the truth in her words and the madness in Zira's eyes, abandoned the fight. But Zira could not let go. Scar's legacy was all she had left. Consumed by her hatred, she made one last attempt on Simba's life, only to be stopped by Kiara. In the end, it wasn't Simba who defeated her. It was her own unwillingness to forgive. She perished, a final, tragic victim of a long-dead king's dark influence. With Siragone, the ghost of Scar was finally laid to rest. Simba, finally, understanding true wisdom, welcomed the Outlanders back into the Pride. The two prides, once bitter enemies, became one family. The king who would not rest, Simba, haunted by his past, could finally find peace. He had learned that a true king's strength isn't just in his roar, but in his capacity to forgive, to unite, and to trust in the next generation. The circle of life was not just restored, it was made stronger, more complete, and finally healed. The story teaches us that the shadows of the past can be long, but they don't have to define our future. It's a powerful reminder that unity is stronger than division, and love is the only thing that can truly conquer hate. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the Lion King, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories you thought you knew. See you next time.